Hello everyone, I'm Rupam, founder and CEO of Akili Labs Private Limited, creator of Project Lifeverse, and author of the book Intimacy Lost for Man, The Birth of the Lugal. And welcome you all to episode number 29 on intimacy loss. And this episode is a continuation of yesterday's episode where we'll be learning and discussing about few of the core issues and key issues because of which the females are walking out of the marriage. Understanding such core issues are going to significantly help you to understand what they essentially are looking for, so that you can take control back of your marriage relationships and your life. Because without knowing these fundamentals, you would always remain in the assumptions. You'd always be looking for shortcuts in life. You'll try to figure out the easiest ways to keep your marriage alive, and such things do not work. Life is all about fundamentals, life is all about objective truth. And if you only live by the subjective and fact driven, perception based, perspective based reality, then you are always going to lose out. And the cost of the marriage, a broken marriage, is not being paid by either the female or the male, it is paid by the children. The very institution of marriage was created to safeguarding the children, because children are essentially one of the key aspects of the society. Every society needs to have it needs to look after its children. Our human children are extremely vulnerable. They need parental support, they need societal support, they need everybody's support, otherwise they cannot just go out and arrange their food. And therefore a broken marriage produces an extremely vulnerable future society, because such children who are devoid of the love of their parents in their early childhood goes on to become extremely aggressive, they have their mental health issues, and they often are found to be incapable of finding a good relationship. So a broken marriage essentially is a red it's an alarming bell for the future of the society. And it is the responsibility of all of us living today to make sure that our children, that the future generation of the human race, do not suffer because of the lack of understanding and because of lack of interest that we have taken in our generation to address the issue and to solve the issue. Marriage is not about ego, or marriage is not about me versus you. Marriage is an institution which is created for the children. And therefore, if you are entering into the marriage, you have to keep your own interest and ego aside. You are accepting essentially to have a life which is purely dedicated for your children. You are doing that. You are going to do your social responsibilities. You are going to be productive in the society. You are going to be functional in the society. And one of those key functional demands, key functional requirement is that you are going to upbring a good, healthy children for him to be good functional in the society in the future. And nobody forces anyone to be part of the society. But if you want to be part of the society, then you have to do your responsibilities for the society, because there is no such thing called individuality or independence. For your water, you are dependent upon somebody who is working in the water plant, water processing plant. For your sewage, you are dependent upon the cleaning personnel, the janitors who are taking care of the sewage. For your food, you are dependent upon the farmers. For the road, you are dependent upon the construction workers. For electricity, you are working upon the complete electrical production unit. So nothing in your life is independent. And when you are using the services of the society, it doesn't matter how much you are paying or how much you are capable of paying. Living in this society comes with a disclaimer that you have to be functional, you have to be meaningful, and you have to contribute towards the society. Yes, human society makes us an object, we function as machines, but that's part of it. Just because we are able to function as machine for some part of our life, it gives us the opportunity to become the human in rest of the other parts. There is a human thing. Functioning in this society is a human thing, and then that functioning gives us the excess time in which you can become human being, where you can have your intimacy, where you can have your learning, knowledge, relationships, talking with people, and therefore it is extremely essential for you, whomsoever is watching this video, all of you, to understand the marriage. When you want to enter into the marriage, you are essentially convincing yourself that yes, I am dedicating a good part of my life to upbring the children. And we already know that based on your submission to upbring this child and your dedication to upbring a child, the society guarantees a future, a safe future when you are old, when you are not as productive as today. So when you will not be as productive as today, the society is not going to throw you away. It is going to take care of you, and that is the reason. That is the reason it is important for you to understand that how to work in the framework of the marriage and what the females want, because marriage is an institution for the child, and females are the bearer of the child. They're going to give birth to the child, and therefore it is very important for you to select such females who understand, who still have the sanity to understand the sanity of this institution, who have the sanity to understand that they're not independent, but rather they're dependent upon an extremely complex functioning of this society. And so this episode is going to be the concluding episode on what females look for. So, as we understand, yesterday we understood that one of the core reasons females are working out from the marriage today is essentially because nobody teaches them what marriage is all about. We already know that it is extremely essential for a female to get a social validation. If a man have money, he can feel that I am rich, but it doesn't work in that way for the case of females. We already know that they have fragmented memory, with each memory is associated with multiple contradictory and conflicting feelings. Therefore, they need affirmation, and they need confirmation, and they need validation. This is how the system works. And we also know that because their ovarian and reproductive system, the female ovarian and reproductive system, needs tremendous amount of energy to remain active, their body and brain compromises on the energy, because energy is not infinite and female metabolic rate is always slower. So that when they become pregnant, body can increase their metabolic rate and support the child growth. That's why their metabolic rate is created slower. Now, if and when the female starts using their brain as aggressively as men do, then all of such females must be told beforehand the pros and cons. You cannot make people to work keeping them in the darkness. The first thing, all of you females out here who are watching this video, you have to know that a man doesn't go and argue with you that no, I want to have a child birth, or rather I can do those things, because he doesn't have an ovarian system. His body doesn't require that much of energy to maintain his reproductive system, but a female's body does. Ovary exchanges millions of messages every day to the brain. Ovary gut axis, the gut microbiome, exchanges millions of messages gut reabsorbs about 20% of the hormones. So the environment that you give to those microbiomes do affect the female health. And because of this excess gut microbiome, because of this ovarian system, reproductive system, female brain takes less energy and therefore it can function less, and there is no harm in it. That's how the biology is. I mean, come on, you just cannot say that I want to walk in four legs just because monkey is walking in four legs. We have two hands and two legs. Accept it and move on. Don't aspire to have a tail just because you see a lion with a tail. Don't aspire to have big teeth just because you have seen a lion to have a big teeth. Will you aspire to have a trunk just because you have seen an elephant to have a trunk? Excuse me. So, the very important aspect over here is to first accept who we are biologically and who we are anatomically, who we are genetically, physiologically, psychologically, philosophically. The brain of the female has multiple memory chunks, with each memory with multiple feelings. You have to accept it. There is no harm in accepting it. That's the reality. Whether you accept it or you don't accept it, that's reality. Alright. And so yesterday we learned that because of this, they have to repeat a sentence many number of times to make them believe. They have a believing brain. Female decisions are taken through a belief system. They are not taken from a logical perspective, and it is not possible. That's not the way brain functions, because once the female brain starts getting logical, their reproductive function will be tremendously hampered. There is no harm in accepting that. And if you want to really use your brain like a man does, you have to accept the fact, and you have to know the fact that as you cross 30, your reproductive system will be entirely down. You'll feel much more older than your age. You'll age faster. You will lose your sleep. You'll lose your ability to digest. You'll lose your hair. And if that is fine for you, if that is not going to hamper your self-esteem, if the loss of your beauty does not hamper your self-esteem, if you do not get disturbed when you do not see yourself menstruating, if that doesn't bother you, then go ahead and do it. By all means. And for all the men out there, those females who have chosen to ignore this fact, who have never understood this fact, whose parents never bothered to tell them this facts, why are you going to pay the price, and why you want to make a child pay the price for such ignorance? Why the child should pay a price for your illiteracy and your ignorance? If anyone should be punished for ignorance, it should be the one who is ignorant, not a newborn child. So, when you are entering into the marriage, you have to know that marriage is an institution meant to give birth to a child and upbring the child. That's all. It doesn't care whether you want emotions from your partner, respect out of your partner. All those are bullshit. It's a definition. This is how society has been. You can go back and live in the cave. There you can have a very independent life. You can become very strong and independent in the cave and in the jungle, not in the society. In society, you are interdependent. You are using the resources, and therefore you have to do the responsibilities and your duties towards the society. You are bound by that. It's not your choice. It's not your choice. Because if you exercise your choice, the society is going to exercise its own choices. It's going to deny you your right of electricity. It's going to deny you your connections. It's going to deny you food, because the farmers will say tomorrow that if you are feeding the society with bad children, you are not going to produce crop. What you are going to do? That's why it's very important for a female to know that a marriage means you are going to become mother. That's an extraordinarily, exceptionally prolonged job, entire life's job, and that creates a $5 million institution. Watch yesterday's class. Nothing is more valuable than that. That's worshiping God. That's a fantastic feeling. That's emotions. That's extraordinary. And so, all of you men out here, whenever you are trying to select a girl for your marriage, the first thing that you have to have in the discussion is, look, marriage is an institution that is meant to upbring a child. And a child would require a mother's undivided attention for 5 years. Because when a child is born, the mother and child are essentially two bodies and one brain. Their brain signals are completely logged, their physiology is logged, their psychology is logged. That's the reason whenever the child feels hungry, the mother can experience that. It's called the essential narcissism or the primary narcissism. It's an extremely grandiose worldview. Because if the female doesn't become grandiose, she cannot give birth to a child. And if the child is not grandiose, if he doesn't see a bigger picture of the world, he is never going to go out into the unknown territories, and he is never going to learn the world. So a female has to know, irrespective of what YouTube video says, once you are marrying, once you are going to become mother, you are going to become a narcissist. You'll have a primary narcissism. And through the process of upbringing the child, and when the father separates the child from you, it will take 3 to 4 years for you to come out of that narcissism. Otherwise, your entire life you are going to remain to be a narcissist, and your child is going to also remain to be a narcissist. There is no such thing called empath. All the YouTubers, who they don't have any academic qualification. They have not worked with people. They have no scientific contribution. They're giving you the validation, wrong validation, which has no meaning. So, when you go to see a girl, propose a girl for the marriage, this is your first discussion. Look, after the marriage, we are married for giving birth to a child, right? And upbring that child. Whether you want or not, the girl is marrying for that purpose only. Why? Because marriage is an institution approved by the society and the state, which ensures that should something happen to you, the child will be taken care of. The mother will be taken care of. That's what society is assuring you. There is no such thing as single mother. No such thing as single mother. Because by the law of psychology, if a father doesn't help the child to learn from the age of 5, takes the child away, teaches him, upskills him, and help the mother to deal with the separation of the child, the girl and the child both will be converted into pathological narcissism, which will be essentially at the beginning a neurotic disorder, and then it will become a psychotic disorder. And under psychosis, they will have several other issues such as metabolic disorder and cardiovascular disorders. You can check out some of the life studies from Google Scholar. Life is not a joke. So when you go and speak, when you propose a girl for the marriage, this has to be the first statement. Okay, the marriage is for the child. You are going to be a mother, and that's going to require 10 years of full-time dedication, what you are going to do? And if the girl is already a career girl, if the girl is already a career girl, if she is using her brain tremendously, for example, in a STEM field, or for example, in any field where there is a logical processing required, her ability to become mother is already impaired. Her gut microbiome is, there is a dysbiosis in her gut microbiome because they have been stifled of the energy. They're already having a difficult reproductive system. They have hormonal irregularity. That's because normally when the ovarian system are to be kept, the reproductive system are to be kept healthy, brain has to compromise. Other organs have to compromise. Females are therefore slow, low, therefore, and therefore you have to tell them that look, after the marriage you have to have at least 1 to 2 years where you'll not be working because you'll be preparing yourself for the motherhood. You have to do that. You have to convince her. She has to accept. If she doesn't accept, she is not married. You are not the one. Why would you be? Why do you want to become the one who is responsible for the misery of a child? Why do you want to give a toxic child, a narcissistic child to the society? If a female is working and she has got pregnant, she will have several hundreds of issues because it's so simple. If you have one bread and two members, both the members will be eating half. What if you have one bread and if you have 10 members, everybody will be starving. Such females will be deprived of enough nutrients. This will be hard for them. The children will always be suffering different diseases all throughout their life. Your child will be suffering. You have to know this. Society expects you to become mother and become father and give birth to a healthy child. But society doesn't accept and expect you to give birth to an ill child. There is a disorder called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. For every 3,500 mothers who are working, there is one child, one male child, who gets infected, who gets affected by Duchenne. You can also check our Duchenne paper in Google Scholar. It's horrible, isn't it? A child with a bent backbone. And this is just not all. Because if a female is overusing her cortisol, she has less cortisol, she has less activation of the sympathetic system, she has less testosterone, she has less amount of brain energy supplied to the brain, and with these shortcomings, if she is pushing her brain, if she is pushing her body, if she is taking more stress, then of course something else has to take the shot. Then the body understands that she is not interested in reproduction, so her reproductive function gets impaired. Most of the working women will eventually have PCOS or the other diseases in today's society. Yesterday it was different, today it is different. Alright, they will have metabolic syndrome, ovarian metabolic syndrome such as PCOS, PCOD. So, such females' ability to give birth to a healthy child is already impaired. So your marriage, if you are marrying such a girl, your marriage is already under the stake, because marriage is an institution to give birth to a healthy child and upbring that child. And if the female whom you are proposing to get married to you has the ovarian impairment, has her reproductive impairment, then your marriage is before it starts, it has a problem. It has a problem. So The first thing in a marriage discussion is this: it's not pleasure. Marriage is not for companionship. Marriage is not a husband giving support to her parents. Marriage is not all about she taking care of your parents. Marriage is not all about you having a friend for the life. No, no, that's not how it is defined. You have to understand the meaning of something. Don't live in the lazy brains world. So first discussion that you do with a female is that, look, if you are already working, you have to stop working if you want to marry. That is number one. And stop working for 2 years. For 2 years she has to heal herself. She has to take rest. Literally bed rest. She has to get involved in a lot of small activities: poetry writing, painting, reading books. She has to increase her attention span. She has to sleep. She has to sleep and let her body heal. This is 2 years literally from the time of marriage before the child, before you start having the child. Because if the female's reproductive system is impaired, how do you have sex in marriage? She is already tired. She will not say it, and you are not observant enough to understand it. She will blame it on you that you are unable to. That you are unable to. I'm saying to you, man, that you are unable to satisfy her. She is going to blame you. So you are already getting into a marriage where chances of sex is very limited. Because if a female is using her brain and body like man with less testosterone and cortisol, where the body is expecting more amount of energy to the ovarian system, you are already entering into a sexless marriage where giving birth to a healthy child is bare minimum. So your marriage is already broken even before it is started. That is the first discussion you have to make to the female. That this is what the life is. This is how it is going to be. You are not going to work. You are going to work in a different way. You both would be working in a way, in your own endeavor. You'll be doing something together. But she is not going to be working in a corporate job. It's not just possible. Then she cannot become a healthy mother. Her children are not going to be healthy. She doesn't know this. She doesn't have that rationality because her brain functions in a different way. She expects you to know this. If you don't know this, she's going to punish you. She's going to punish you for this. Nobody escapes a female mother's punishment, a mother's punishment. Please remember this. It's genetic. She's going to punish you for not knowing this. So you have to know this. And you have to give her the validation, because if a female is not working today, all the other lazy slaves are going to tell her, you are educated, why are you not working? You should have your financial freedom. If a wife is already driving, if a mother is already driving a $5 million enterprise called marriage, does she not have a financial freedom? Is enslavement of the corporate is the only form of financial freedom? The fact that you are going to remain to be healthy, that you will not have to spend money on the doctors as many of the modern day females do. They go and take OCPs for their PCOS. There's a large percentage of it. Many of the females suffer from amenorrhea, which is an early age temporary menopause. Many of the females do not menstruate. You feel happy about that? Do you feel proud that you are not menstruating? Do you? If there is any one of you who has an amenorrhea, do you really feel satisfied about that? Do you? Ask yourself, are you proud? If you were proud, you wouldn't have been ever going to the doctor's clinic, would you? You are concerned. You're concerned that you are not menstruating. Nobody told you because nobody wants you to heal. A mother is not to become a slave and lick the boot of corporate buggers. That's not what a female is born for. She is a queen. You have to make a girl a queen. Queen doesn't lick boot. Licking boot is not financial freedom. She is going to manage her own enterprise. Where kid is a center, family is a center, then you can create a family business. You can do the hard work. She can take care of the finances. She can take care of your healings. She can be part of your journey. And that's what you have to do. Should not be sitting idle. Should do certain things which satisfies her, which she always wanted to do from her childhood, but she could not do because her parents pushed her in education, in other fields, because her parents wanted her to fulfill their unfulfilled dreams from her. That's how we use our children. That's when you do not understand the human, you do not understand your responsibilities, and you choose to stay ignorant, you end up torturing your children and push them to fulfill your unfulfilled dreams. I'm not even able to pronounce that. That's not how the world is. A female has to become a mother. But there is nothing more valuable job than the job of a mother. As a brilliant enterprise. Imagine if you become a healthy mother, you are not paying any price to the medical colleges. I mean, doctor's clinic. Hefty money saved. When you are healthy, your child is healthy. You are teaching the child up to the age of 5. 3 years of nonsensical basic children education, which cost anything from 6 lakhs to 10 lakhs in India. And I'm pretty sure those nursery education must also cost very hefty in outside world. You save that money. Your child becomes extremely emotional. Your child becomes an intelligent child. He grows up or she grows up. If she grows up, you teach her. Then her father teaches her. Her father teaches her about networking. Her father teaches her about communication. Her father takes her out. Her father teaches her about business if he is a businessman. She learns the things that can be done with that kind of a brain. For example, taking care of the things, taking care of the business. Females have always taken care of the businesses. Potters have made the potteries and females have sold them. They want to be with their man. They don't want to be under a corporate boss and bootleg. That's not how female psychology works. Mothers are extremely independent in terms of they don't want to be owned. They don't want anybody else to dictate them, dominate them. They want to be free mentally, and that freedom comes when they are running their own emperor. They're running their own enterprise, and family is that enterprise. Once a good enterprise is created, that enterprise will create multiple business opportunities. You may have small businesses, you may further grow that business. Then she would know that she is contributing towards giving a good life to her child, because her child can grow up and take advantage of this business she is creating. Then her child can grow it to the next level. That's how it works. Laborifying a female and thinking that she is going to be happy with that marriage is your ignorance. And if you are ignorant, you are going to pay price for that ignorance. But the problem is, if a man only had paid that price, that would have been still okay. A broken marriage price, man pays, he is ignorant, it's good. But the child pays the price. So when your ignorance's price is paid by somebody else, by definition that is called stupidity. The problem is, when somebody chooses to become stupid, it affects a lot of other people. So don't be stupid. Tell the female that this is what it is. And then the second thing is, because she wants to be free, she wants to be dedicated to that enterprise, she wants to run her own enterprise, she wants to take care of her child, her own enterprise, something that she owns. A female, a mother is a owner. She owns. A female has to own. Understand this. A female cannot be owned. This is a mother cannot be owned. She wants to own. So before going to marriage, your second discussion should be what you are going to do together, what you are going to create together. You are a software engineer, she's, I don't know, maybe a chartered accountant. It's not going to work. Theoretically, it doesn't work. Anything which doesn't work theoretically doesn't work practically, irrespective of how much you try. You are a bank employee, she's a lawyer, doesn't work. Marriage may stay, but you are going to live in a very horrible marriage, sexless, emotionless marriage. You just do your duty. Is human life worth to live that way? You see, people may lie to you as much as they want, because everybody is free to lie, everybody is free to pretend to be an expert, come to YouTube and mislead people. That's their choice. But being misled, being choosing to remain ignorant, choosing to suffer and choosing to remain stupid and make a child suffer, that's punishable. You'll be punished for that. The world is like that, because the mother and child will not be separated. Psychologically, the child will not individualize. The child will remain a narcissistic child, and because of that, every time the child goes away from the mother will suffer. The child cannot marry. If it is a male child cannot marry. Whenever he marries, the mother will have a palpitation as soon as he starts living with another girl. There are several complications. So, before you marry, yes, you have to decide what both of you are going to do together. She wants to own. She doesn't want to work. No girl wants to work. So bad thing. Who told you? When you go and start understanding the females, start spending enough time with them, you'd know that a female just cannot be in a labor job. She wants autonomy. A mother is autonomous. She wants a man to give her that, to ensure her that autonomy. Without that autonomy, she is not going to feel secured. Female says that all the females, any females, you ask blindly what you expect in reality. Is it not the security and safety? Should say yes. What they cannot tell you, they want you to figure out, is that they want security. They want safety. What is that safety? A female wants to be autonomous. What is safety means? Safety simply means ensuring that they remain autonomous. Yeah. Once she upbrings the child, she has drawn all the happiness. She would anyways not going back to job, because that happiness, that emotion will be so big, then she can go and teach others, teach small children. There are so many things she can do. She can heal people, she can teach them music, she can teach people painting, whatever is her passion. Corporate job is no female's passion. In the childhood, each female aspired to be someone, and that someone always had some emotional things: story writing, reading, singing, dancing, some crafts, some arts. Each female, every girl ever born in this planet as a small child aspire to become a poet someday. She aspired to draw someday. She aspired to heal people. She aspired to teach people. She aspired to sing. And then her parents start teaching her what she should become. She kills that version of herself. Kills. Listen, she kills that version of herself. She imprisons her, locks, throws the key away. That's already there inside her. And so, what is that safety means? Safety means that you unlock that girl, who she actually is. She doesn't know who she is. She is going to be a mother, she is a daughter, she may be a sister, she may be friends, she may be thousands of the different things. She creates different persona to deal with different personalities in the world. And so when she interacts with her husband, she doesn't know which is that version. In a day, she plays 10 roles. She is a human. And she is not a machine that you can program those roles, right? There are overlapping roles. Herself as a wife is going to overlap with her duties as daughter. Her duties as daughter will overlap with her corporate duties. Her corporate duties are going to overlap with her role when she is traveling. Her role when she is traveling is going to overlap with she being a daughter of her mother. The mother-daughter relationship. That will overlap with her being a sister. Sister-sister relationship. There will be a jealousy. Her role will overlap with her relationship with her brother. So, the girl that you are marrying is essentially 10 to 15 different personas. And there will be overlapping because her core persona is being locked. When she was a very little child, she locked herself into a prison and put her deep down into a dungeon. She doesn't want to look at her, but that girl keeps her screaming. She cries, and that disturbs all her personas. So it's always a multiple personalities. So when you want to interact with her in the bed, her brain has thousands of things going on. You are not dealing with your wife there. She is just different personas. You do not know who is that wife. There are multiple personas. Her brain is shooting because there are multiple memories. She doesn't know how to concentrate that brain. And therefore, because she will be incapable of focusing, it's not easy for her. However, if you give her that enterprise, the family enterprise, and a business where she's following you, you are doing the hard work in the business. Maybe you are creating, she is selling, maybe she is taking care of that business. She will become happy. Unoverlapping work. You will do something, she will do something, but you will work together. But if you are working in a different job, she is working in a different job, or if you are working, she is not working, ain't going to work. Whatever you do, whatever people says, you are going to spend a lot of money in your marriage, and then you are going to spend a lot of money in your divorce. You are going to go through a significant 5 to 8 years of struggle through your divorce. Whichever country you are in, divorces are not easy. Why divorces are not easy? You understand now, right? because the society doesn't want you to fuck the life of a child. You can't do that, because if everybody starts fucking the life of this child, in the future we are going to have an extremely narcissistic and unhealthy children. Our society cannot function, so the society doesn't have any reason to allow you to get away with an easy divorce. So there is no easy divorce. Couples cannot be allowed to fuck the life of a children that easily, and that is the reason divorces are being made difficult. Even if you do not have a child, if you're going away, which means that you were ignorant at the first place. So you're entering into an institution to give birth to a healthy child, raise a healthy child, and then you do not have the child but you want to walk away. It doesn't happen. Because if you walk away today, then tomorrow other couples are going to walk away. It's not going to be ever made easy. It's not how society can function. We cannot put our children at risk because of your silly egos and ignorance and stupidity. We have to take care of our children. They are our responsibilities. This future generation is our responsibilities. We are bringing them to this world without taking any permission from them. We are bringing vulnerable souls to this world without having enough ever taking permission to them. And so we are all, as a society, as individual, we are committing that our children and mothers will be safe, but not the single mothers. No, you are irresponsible. You are irresponsible and ignorant. It doesn't work. So therefore, if you really do not want to suffer the toxicity of the divorce, going through the public, cleaning your linen in the public, become a mockery. If you don't want to suffer that, you have to make sure the second part, which is that you have to understand that a girl wants security. That first security is the safeguarding of her autonomy. You don't ensure that, you will be punished. Make no mistakes in that. You don't give that autonomy, you will be punished. If she is not part of your journey, she will punish you. Alright, now that you know, now if you take that decision that no, this doesn't work, consequences are yours. You cannot ever say that nobody told you. See, consequence is purely yours. You cannot say nobody told you. Alright, so what we learned? We learned the first thing is that female has to get out of their jobs. Get out of their jobs. No questions asked here. Because unless and otherwise they do that and heal themselves for 2 years, they are incapable of producing a healthy baby. And if their entire energy of the body goes into their job, which is excessive pushing of their body and the brain, then the ovarian and reproductive system of the females will suffer. Under that situation, she will be incapable of channelizing enough energy towards sex. Because sex and child are two core essentials of the marriage. Marriage is not for friendship. There are many people you can go out and have your friendship. Marriage is not for friendship. It's not for companionship. No. By definition, it is not. Right? You don't pay a price while you move out of a friend from your life, but a child pays a price if you move out of a marriage. There are high stakes, and children are not yours. It's complete society's. It is ours. Every children is ours. Every children belongs to the society for the future of the human race. It's not yours. You see, you are the caretaker of that child, but the child is not yours. Child belongs to the society. Because society is committing to the child that if he is ever born, that it is going to take care of him. We are not going to kill those children whose parents are not alive. That is society's promise, and therefore child belongs to the society. You are just the guardians. Understand that. There is a law and you don't have to follow the rule. Absolutely, you don't have to accept it. You can go back. Live in the jungle, in the caves. Absolutely fine. Complete autonomy. You can put fire, go out, hunt, praise, hunt game, bring, cut with you know weapons. Now you have modern equipments. You don't have electricity, just put fire, enjoy night. Absolutely fine. Do whatever you want to do. That's jungle, that's free, that's freedom, independence. You can become very strong and independent in the jungle. Strong and independent in the jungle, but you are not strong and independent in a system which is being contributed by thousands and millions of other people. Come on. The stupidity has to have some limits. Remember, being ignorant and paying the price by yourself is okay. Don't make a child to pay the price, because there is then a reverse consequence for that. So, number one, she's not going to work in the corporate job if she is married. And if she is working in the corporate job, you are not the one to marry. I'm talking to you, man. The second thing is, before a female becomes a mother, she has to heal herself for 2 years. That's essential. Otherwise, she doesn't have enough energy to give to the sex. She doesn't have enough energy to give birth to a healthy child. Her metabolic system, her metabolic rate is already very high. When she will become mother, body has to rise the metabolic rate furthermore. You just cannot overpush. Just because you have to reach a place early, you cannot drive a car double the rate at which you are driving at the maximum speed, can you? So if a female is already in the corporate job pushing her brain and body, she is already at the top speed of her metabolism, and the body cannot increase that metabolic rate beyond that, because high metabolic rate produces an excess amount of heat which body cannot deal with. That's the reason most of the females who are into extremely mental job, they have an internal inflammation, severe inflammation in their internal organs. This is the reason, because they are exceeding the metabolic rate. What happens when you push the accelerator of a car? It gets heated, the engine gets heated. That's what happens with their body. There is no difference here. So after that, when she gives birth to the child, she enjoys the upbringing of the child. She teaches the child, heals the child, takes care of the child. She learns that, and then she teaches others. Number two is that it is extremely hard for the female to stay in a marriage where they don't feel secure. Number one parameter for feminine security is their autonomy. And their autonomy is not financial freedom. Understand, a girl she is not as rational. She cannot be as rational. She wants you to figure out, and what she wants you to figure out is that her desire is that you provide her the financial autonomy, you provide her the autonomy, you provide her security for the autonomy. And that security for the autonomy comes when you and her are working in the same venture. You are creating something together. That's how America was built. Just look into the history of America, how family businesses were created by great men and great wives. Indian business system, Dhirubhai Ambani, her wife Kokilabai. You look into any business, you look into Benz, Bartha Benz and Carl Benz. They created it. Bartha brought the dowry money through which the Benz company was created. You aspire to drive Mercedes Benz, right? It was created by husband and wife. That's how the world has moved, and that's how it is going to move. If you don't follow that theology, then that's not going to have your, unfortunately, survive. So this is the second security you have to provide to the girl. You have to know this. The third issue is Because in order to become a healthy mother, because in order to become a healthy mother, along with healthy energy, she requires unhealthy emotion. Because when she becomes mother, estrogen levels will be 4,000. A girl requires healthy emotion, and you should very well check out our chapter, our class and episode on the difference between emotion and feelings. A girl is getting married because she sees every other girl getting married. She requires social validation. So a girl is getting married because she sees other getting married. She doesn't know a shit about marriage. She was never told what a marriage is. She just knows that she is going to get married. She is going to have a husband. She is going to have a beautiful life. She aspires about that day, about her dress. She doesn't know what that marriage is. You have to teach her that much before you get into the marriage. You have to teach her that. You have to share these videos, and then you have to watch these videos and teach her. It's your responsibility. A man's responsibility is to teach the girl much before the marriage what she is getting into. And it's your responsibility to know you are getting a girl to become a mother. So you have a lot of other responsibilities because the girl is going to take the responsibility of the child. So of course, mother and child responsibility is to be taken by you. You have to ensure that financial safety. Well, very much can be provided everybody in modern day, but you have to provide that. However, more core safety that she expects is for her emotions. Unfortunately, the modern world is feeling driven. Her feelings are varying entire day. She doesn't have fixed emotions. So you have to learn how to convert a girl's feeling into a stable state of emotion. Read the book Intimacy Laws for Men. You'd be able to convert those feelings of your girl into stable emotions. You have to learn the fundamentals. There is no shortcut. Girls are not complex, they're very simple. Okay, so emotional safety is the fourth one a girl expects. And if you do not have stable, strong emotion, you cannot give that stable, strong emotion to the girl. So you have to read that book. And if you cannot read that book, if you cannot take control of your life, then you'll suffer. Simple. Next, why females move out of the marriage? A lot of people could just read the pointers 1, 2, 3, 4. Females move out of the marriage because they don't have good sex. Females move out of the marriage because they're not heard. 5 points. Females move out of the marriage because she gets a better love. Subjective, reality driven, stupid people can do anything. You don't have to be the one to buy that stupidity. You cannot invest 1 hour learning and then few hours practicing. You will suffer. You're choosing to suffer, right? So we already know that a female is going to, a mother is very submissive. A mother submits to that cause. It's a dedication. Dedication to whom? Not to opinionated person. You can't control a mother who is already autonomous. You can't direct her. You can't dictate her. You can only aspire and inspire her. So a girl will follow. Follow means what? You set the example and she will follow. You will get up 5 o'clock in the morning. She will get up 5 o'clock in the morning. You will go to bed at 10 p.m. She will go to bed at 10 p.m. You are going to sit at 1 p.m. to have your lunch. She is going to sit with you 1 p.m. at lunch. You are not going to talk about office politics during the lunch. She is not going to talk about office politics during the lunch. You are going to talk poetry. She is going to talk poetry. That's what follow means. A girl wants to follow, not dictated. You cannot. You cannot dominate. You can just follow, which means you can't say anything. You just have to become bigger than life, because a mother is going to become a narcissist. So she is going to look into the world in a very grandiose way. It's so simple, isn't it? It's science. A mother is going to look into the world in a grandiose way. And how she is going to look into her man? Grandiosely. A man is better than the other. He's a warrior. He's a singer. He's a music director. He's an actor. He takes care of her. He plays the role of her father. He plays the role of her brother. He plays the role of her husband. He plays the role of her lover. He plays the role of her friend. That's grandiosity. You are entering into the marriage, accepting that grandiosity. Don't accept, don't get married. Live a damned difficult social life when you are old. You are not giving, you don't think it is worth to give a healthy child to the society. Don't expect the society to give you a healthy old age. Suffer, it's your choice. Not knowing and taking the decision is not a problem, but knowing and taking the decision, no. Choosing to be ignorant, choosing to be stupid is your choice. So remember, if you don't take pain to give birth to a healthy child and raise that healthy child, it's painful, it's hard, it's difficult. But if you don't do that, however old your old age long remains, you are going to live a miserable life. Nobody is going to care about you. Ask all the girls who are unmarried today after the age of 35, those who are in different dating applications. Ask about their sociality. After 40, they don't have a social life. Nobody wants to be with them. Their own friends won't be with them. They will see their friends getting married, having baby, and they'll be extremely aggressive. They'll be envious. Nobody wants to be with them. They will dump people. You will live a lonely life from the age of 40 up to the age of 80. If you think men going their own way, tell me one thing. If you go your own way, would society be following you? Are you that illogical? Have men really gone so illogical? Have we really lost that mind that much? See, if you go your own way, society will also going to go its own way. And when you get paralyzed, when you have an Alzheimer disease, when you become 60, start losing your memory, you become vulnerable, you cannot work. Who is going to take care of you? Society is going its own way because you went your own way. Isn't it for it? No? Justice, equality. You talk about equality all the time, no? You talk about justice and equality. You give a middle finger to the society. You think society is going to poo-poo you, don't you? It's equality. Society is going to give back. Same thing that you are going to give society to. You are going to say it's my choice to marry anyone I wish, same gender. It's your choice. Then whatever choice society exercise on you, don't complain. You're not giving a child to the society. Society is not going to give you any old age. It's give and take. You see, you don't think that becoming mother is important. Nobody is going to be there in your life after the age of 40. Everyone is going to dump you. They're going to see you as a loser. Don't believe me? You want to wait up to the age of 40 to experience that? By all means. Life is yours, choice is yours. Stupidity is yours, consequences are all yours. I, as a teacher, can teach you what life is and what life is not. But I won't teach you not to be stupid. I will, in fact, enjoy that. Because even bad examples are required for this society so that people can learn from them. So we don't need to really stop people who become bad examples, because by seeing them, people become good examples. If you don't become good examples seeing those 70% girls who are walking out of the marriage, then you will become one of those examples. The last thing, age. Of course, getting a stable emotion is not going to happen for men before the age of 30 to 35. It's very hard, seriously very hard. Unless and until you have a difficult childhood, it's very hard. So you are not going to have any stable emotion up to the age of 35. Your rationality has not increased. You have not really gone higher to the ladder. And therefore, if you are marrying at the age of 27, 28 after having 1 or 2 years of job because your parents have told, you are going to suffer. You're absolutely going to suffer, because if you don't have an emotion, you have feelings, but you don't have stable emotion. That doesn't come, because a man's prefrontal cortex gets developed up to the age of 25. And after prefrontal cortex is developed, it needs 7 to 8 years of data to develop that rationality. You see, within a year, within 2 years, when you are 27, this brain has just got created, man. And your testosterone have just started raising. A man's testosterone starts raising, a guy's testosterone starts raising after the age of 25. In the childhood, female testosterone is more or less during the puberty is nearly much more higher than the male, because they want to have the higher growth. Testosterone is a growth hormone. And so only after your prefrontal cortex is well developed, your body will produce more growth hormone. It's a science. No. So it will take at least 5 to 6 years, because a child needs 5 to 6 years to even start learning, right? Same thing will be required by the prefrontal cortex. No? The conscious brain of man, the developed brain of man, it will take 5 to 6 years. No? To learn, to suffer, to collect data, and to become a manly brain. So up to 30 it is going to learn. It is then a 5-year-old child. Up to 35 it is a mature child. Always remember, no same age marriage. 30, 35. Up to that you just feed this prefrontal cortex, masculine brain. Remember, a man is not the one who is a body with a penis. A man is not a body with a penis. A man is a body with prefrontal cortex brain. Always remember this. This drives masculinity. This doesn't drive masculinity. That fades away. If this is not there, that fades away. A man is not a body with a penis. A man is a body with a prefrontal cortex brain, superconscious brain. Remember this. This drives this. This doesn't drive this. This fades. This fades. That is an anatomical organ. This is the masculine organ. This is not anatomical organ. Only man has this. Not guys. Not guys. Unfortunately. Every male gender has a penis. But only man has a prefrontal cortex brain. Well-developed prefrontal cortex brain. Well-functioning prefrontal cortex brain. And that's why, which drives the consciousness. And that's why If you look into the rape statistics and if you look into the violence against women statistics, you'll see most of the criminals would pick up those crimes between the age of 16, 17, 18, much before 25. After 25, once the conscious brain is completed, man cannot become violent against women and child. Doesn't happen. Those things happens much before the age 25, just before the prefrontal cortex is developed. If he is not well, he's not in the right environment. If his prefrontal cortex is not well developed, when it is not developed, parents, parents never focused on his consciousness, never got developed. So they become the criminals who commit crime again, women and children. Man cannot do that because of the consciousness. Consciousness stops. It's just not possible, biologically not possible. So just don't go out there and say, men are pigs. You owe it to men. Hmm? You owe it to men. So, marriage age. You don't require to really go and marry at the age of 27. 30, 35, 30 is infant brand, 35 is the best brand. And you are not going to marry any girl over the age of 30. You're just not going to do that. You are just going to not do that. In fact, 25 is the maximum age that you should be looking at because her biological age will be much more higher. Say, in the college, her biological age, and you can take life as biological age test. I'll be putting the link in the description below. So, a girl's biological age during the college time is going to be something around plus 3 years. So, when she's 25, she's already 28, 29. So, that's the age you should be looking at. No compromise. No compromise on this. Because after the age of 35, a girl's genetic material that binds the chromosomes, gametes, gets weakened. That genetic string gets weakened. Alright? And if she is into a corporate job pushing her body, her biological age will be in the range of plus 8 years. Which is when she is 27, she will be 35 and her it's not chronological age. So you should be very careful about that. And so the reason a girl walks away of the marriage finally is that she doesn't have the conscious brain to take the accountability. No girl can take the accountability. They can only take the credit. No girl can accept that it is her mistake. So you cannot tell a girl that look, you were in a job, you did not give me good sex. No, she is not going to accept because she doesn't have that conscious brain. So she walks out of the marriage because she convinces herself with another false story that you did not give her anything, neither financial security, nor emotional security, nor sex. You did not provide her good sex. She convinces herself of all this. And she leaves. After this class, after this session, after this episode, I would hope that you would watch and listen to this episode as many number of times it takes. And then you'd buy the book, Intimacy Lost for Man, The Birth of the Looker. Oh, another beautiful thing is that today we are also launching the relationship book, which will be available as an ebook. If some of you do not want to invest a lot of your brain energy into such deep intellectual and philosophical theology, such as intimacy, then just get on with the relationship books. At least you'll learn those methods and you'll have a very shortened, you'll be able to set right few of the things. So just go into the description below and you'll see both the books link. One is a ebook, relationship book is going to be the ebook. You can buy that. Intimacy Laws is going to be like a book you would require for the rest of your life if you want to really understand the world better, the internal world of the humans better. Thank you so much for investing your time, energy, emotions, and undivided attention for this 1 hour class in a world where chaos and misinformation and shortcuts are the norms. Thank you so much for not becoming a shortcutist and suffering. Thank you so much for not choosing to fall into the narration of the stupids that you should be getting information and insight in 5 minutes or in 2 minutes. Don't do those things. Life is not about 15 seconds or 5 minutes. Life is a serious game. And you don't learn serious games in 5 minutes, do you? With that, thank you so much. This is Rupam again. Have a happy Sunday, all of you. And I'm pretty sure that you are going to deeply analyze whatever you are learning in these classes. You'll leave your comments and concerns and doubts in the comments below. And also, I just want to plea you that as you are watching these episodes, you may be knowing, and if you are visiting Life's website, you must have seen that there is a tremendous amount of research and scientific development that we do, and we don't just come here and speak to you whatever our mind says. All the scientific research is available in scholar.google.com, where you can just type LYFAS and you can watch our scientific research. You can get access to tremendous amount of scientific blogs in lifers.com blog. I want to I want to request you to please donate towards the research and development in Lifers. I'm leaving behind a donation link below because it's only through such research and development, it's only through such research that we are able to discover the hidden secrets which are being hidden from us by people with agenda. With such kind of, with only with your generous support would we be able to continue to research and make those research public, make the data public, so that you have access to the real data, real information, real scientific knowledge beyond the academics. This is not about you and me, it's about the society and the future human race. And we have been doing it, but without your support it is not possible. So I request you to kindly please consider donating in the Lifers Research and Development Project and leave behind and help us to give you the right knowledge, education, data and insight which no corporates or which no other institute care to provide you. Help us. Thank you so much for your time. Please keep your family safe, relationships safer. Please grow in life and give a meaningful life to our children. Thank you so much.